What's up, doll collectors, hobbyists, fabs, and besties? I'm Toya, an adult doll collector. Welcome to my miniverse. Let's check the comments to see what we're doing today. Toya, can you make a cat room? Why, yes. Excellent idea. Well, it's not really going to be a cat room, more like part of a cat cafe. I'm recycling an old craft or giving a room a little makeover. This is a room that we made inspired by a picture on Barbie Style's Instagram. In this video, right here, it has pink walls, one that can fold, a credenza, and a floor. That's a free printable on our blog. I made it by taking a picture of a floor in a cafe. Then I just covered it in tape to make it shiny. So I think it's kind of perfect to go in our little cat cafe-ish scene. I got some inspiration on Pinterest of real cat cafes. So yeah, let's do this. For this project, I'm using a ruler. This is an acrylic ruler that is 3 inches by 17. I am also using foam board. I usually find mine at a craft store. Michael's is my go-to, and it cost me about $4.99. And I think this is a great project to use some of our scraps. If I wanted an alternative to foam board, I would go with cardboard and just cut and cover with paper to use instead. I am also using an X-Acto knife, scrapbook paper, and or printables. And we might need a little clear plastic from packaging if we want to create a window. Whenever I am creating anything, I always think, how am I going to store this? My shelves can handle a box that is 15 inches wide. So that is how long we are going to make this space. My walls measure 13 inches tall, so I'm going to measure over 15 inches and draw a line so we know where to cut. Let's remove the furniture. It is currently glued to the wall, so let's see if we can neatly do this without destroying it too much. All right, not too bad. I lost a little paper, but that's okay. We're gonna recover the wall anyway. I cut on the line that we made earlier so we can make the wall smaller, giving us a 15 by 13 inch rectangle for our back wall. The floor is going to be 6 by 15 inches, so we just have to cut this piece to fit. So let's go ahead and do that. Since we made this wall to move, we have a little gap in the baseboards. So I'm just going to remove this one, flip it over, then on the back of the wall, let's add a little glue to that cut so we can make the wall flat. That's better. Now let's glue that small piece of the floor on. I found a 1/2 inch piece of foam board, and we're going to just glue that onto the wall and trim off the excess. Now we need to cover the walls. I'm using a scrapbook paper that looks like a washed wood. Let's glue it right over the existing paper. So our wall, floor, and baseboards for the back wall are done. Let's measure this side. For me, it's around 6 1/4 inches. I have a scrap of foam board that I think is just about big enough. It has a little bend in it, but if we cover it with paper, I think it'll be fine. I cut a 13 by 6 1/4 inch rectangle, glue it onto the side, add scrapbook paper, and a 1/2 inch strip of foam board for a baseboard. I have a tiny gap in my paper because I didn't cut it as neatly as I should. So we're gonna find a way to cover that later. For the other wall of our space, maybe we can reuse some of this window. We know that the side wall needs to be 6 1/4 inches, so let's cut this at 5 3/4. Going all the way down, cut 2 13 by 1/2 inch strips of foam board, and I'm going to glue one to the side, cut clear plastic from packaging, glue it over the cutout, frame it with strips of foam board, leaving a little space so it can be glued to the room at the back and at the bottom. Let's glue it in place. I had to add a small piece of foam board on the side because I cut it too short. The measurements were right, I just cut it wrong. But now we have our little room. We can pretend like this is a window or a door. I'm gonna go with a window, so I don't mind blocking the view a little. I have a few scraps of foam board. I want to cut a small piece to make a counter for the humans first. So we should probably make stools first. I'm using plastic bottle caps. jute twine I picked up at the dollar store, and wooden dowels. I cut my wooden dowels to 3.5 inches. I use a floral wire cutter to cut them. Cut 3 to 4 for each stool. Let's glue the twine to the top of the bottle cap. And we're going to just glue it going around and around in a circle until the top is covered. Then let's go down the sides until the cap is no longer visible. Turn it upside down and glue the wooden dowels underneath to make a quick stool. Repeat to make 2. Let's make a counter that's about 8 inches. I cut a 2-inch wide strip of foam board. I cut a piece to go in front of the window and another piece that is 6 inches, bringing us to 8. I glue them on 5.5 inches from the floor to make a place where the dolls can sit. Let's take scraps of foam board and glue them into the room so we can make different levels. Let's take a strip of foam board, cover it with the jute twine, and glue it into the corner, covering up the mistake we made when we cut the paper. I take another piece of foam board and let's cut the ends at an angle, making a trapezoid, then glue it into the corner so the cats can climb up the pole and onto a high level. I have a 1.5 inch wide piece of foam board here. Let's cut 2 3-inch pieces. Then let's take a little craft foam and cut a 3 by 3 inch square. This is a lot easier to cut than foam board. So let's try to cut out a fun design. I'm using a pencil to just sketch out a shape. Hopefully that looks like a cat. And let's cut it out. I cut out the center first, then the ears. That was a little bit more work than I thought. My cuts aren't perfect, but I think we can work with this. I glue the foam board to the top and bottom, then glue it to the wall. I cut a few 1 by 2.25 inch rectangles. I cut 3 1 by 1 inch squares, glue them together to make stair steps, then glue them into the box. Cover more foam board with the jute twine and use them to connect levels. We can use more jute or macrame cord to make a little rope ladder. I'm securing the ends with a little hot glue so we can cut it without it unraveling. I glue down 2 ropes, then smaller ones between them to make a rope bridge. We can take leftover foam board, sketch a semicircle, cut it out, cover it with the macrame cord, then let's glue it around the edge to make a lip to make a small bed that we can glue onto the wall to make a cozy place for the cats to curl up. Now we can add our favorite miniature cats to all the different spaces. This is a Collecta cat, and I'm just going to place it right here on the top. This is a cat I found on Amazon, and we're going to just put you right there. Come on, balance. There we go. Maybe this one is sitting right here. This one just woke up from a nap and is taking a big stretch. I use foam letters to give it a name, to give the dolls a place where they can hang out with a few fur babies. Add a potted plant for a little splash of color, and maybe a menu. This one is from Teeny Tinies to finish this space. Thank you for joining us while we made a place for our cats to hang out. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff, the Frog Vlog, and Bella of MyFroggyStuff. And we will see you next time.